Hello and welcome to today's episode of Tardis Talk. Today I am joined by Whovian Comley. Hello, Whovian.
Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Today we're going to talk about, a lots of different things, because a lot has been going on. We've got that, got the new logo,
Oh yeah,
filmings coming around the corner pretty soon on Disney Plus, all of that. There's, Power of
I
the
know.
Doctor as well. Whew, it's
It's
been,
been so crazy.
yeah, it has. It's been really busy. I think definitely as well from the fact that we had a very long time of just nothing,
Yeah, yeah,
and then suddenly we've just got all of this, and then all of that still to come. It's quite a lot.
yeah. Like especially here in Australia, like we don't. My Doctor Who news comes from online, so like
Yeah,
we had nothing.
yeah. That I never think about that because I know obviously like Doctor Who's harder to access like outside of other countries, which is why Disney Plus are doing
Yeah,
their thing. But I never think about kind of the news aspect of it because obviously there's so much of people talking about it everywhere on like the
yeah,
British
absolutely,
side.
yeah,
But then outside of that, it
yeah,
must be quite hard to like hear when things go down.
yeah. Like so, like all of the Doctor Who news that I get, I it comes from England. So like if I read anything, I have to wake up in the morning, like
Yeah.
early in the morning, to actually see it. So I'm kind of a few hours behind everyone else getting the news. But yeah, it's fine, I guess.
How does
I'm
that
used to
work
it
for
now.
like spoilers and things? If if do you wake up early for like if there's a new episode?
Uh, so for the Power of the Doctor, I woke up as early as I could, like as soon. So they tried to release it in time with England here, which I think they did. I think they released it an hour after England. Um, I woke up extra early so that way I could like watch it. We've got like ABC here, so I made sure that I could watch it without any spoilers.
Yeah.
Thank God, because I had to work. I had to work that day as well. So like would have had to go the whole day without watching, without like going on my phone, anything like that. So it was very very difficult. Like I think I woke up at like 3 a.m. to actually watch it, so I didn't like get any spoilers. Yeah,
Yeah, especially because you're on TikTok and YouTube, so you'd be getting like double the amount
exactly.
of
Yeah,
notifications coming at you.
yeah,
How does Disney Plus affect you then? Because I know you said you watched it on ABC, and Disney Plus has the rights for when it comes back again.
yeah.
Will it still be on ABC for you or?
Lucky for me, I've got Disney Plus, like for all the Marvel and Star Wars stuff. But it's sad because it's not going to be on ABC anymore. So a lot of Doctor
Hmm.
Who fans in Australia who don't have ABC are going to have to pay for another streaming service. And a lot like I don't know how it is in England, but the like cost of living here is nuts. So a lot of people can't afford it. So it's sad because I grew up like my whole life as a kid. I used to watch on ABC, which ABC is basically, for those who don't know, is basically our BBC. Like we get all the British shows here on ABC. Um, so like it's sad because I grew up watching pretty much all of Doctor Who on ABC with my dad. So like I'll be fine because I can watch it on Disney Plus or I'll be able to find it online or something like that. Disappointing that I won't be able to watch it on ABC anymore, and
Yeah.
especially for like other Australian Whovians. It's like yeah, I was hoping they could possibly work something out with ABC, but yeah, so it doesn't affect me too much, thankfully.
Yeah, because I know that that was a big thing when people like it's annoying that it's a good thing that Doctor Who's going to be on Disney Plus, but then there's the other end of it that it's not going to be on anything else other than Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely on the fence about it. Like 100%. I think it's awesome because it's going to attract a whole new audience.
Yeah.
Um, but then I'm also I'm on the fence because yeah, I'm on that side. Like I think that's great, but then I'm also like there's a lot of like diehard Doctor Who fans who sadly are going to probably miss out.
Yeah. I think as well like with you said it being that's another thing I don't understand like, which I think they probably do need to either look into finding a way to do it or clearing up is because
Yeah,
like you said when it's on ABC, TM and the BBC, like it's on TV, it's not just like dropped on like iPlayer, like you have to watch it
yeah,
live as you go. But then if it's going to be on Disney Plus, are they going to like just drop it at like the same time as it
yeah,
launches?
exactly. Like
Like how's
how
that going
I
to
don't
work?
know if they're going to. I don't know if they're going to drop it like the same time it airs in England. Is it going to be like an hour later?
Yeah,
Um, it's
well they
gonna yeah.
maybe they'll
We'll
have to
find
make
out
some
anyway.
like new kind of like watch live feature or something. So like it's almost like an
Okay.
actual watch along you can click on.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the best way to do it. Who is then your, just kind of starting to move into the Doctor Who topics and things? Just that we'll jump off with the easy one. Who's your favorite Doctor?
See, I being a Doctor Who content creator on TikTok, I get this question all the time. And like I don't mind it because that's kind of the first question everyone asks you, and I honestly don't think I have a favorite. Like I got into New Who first, and then I went back and watched all of Classic Who, and it took me a very long time to enjoy Classic Who, to be honest.
I was the same.
But I don't think I really have a favorite. Gun to my head, if I really had to pick, it would probably be Matt, mainly because I think that's the one I grew up with the most when I was a kid, and I had most of my merchandise. I think was the 11th Doctor and Amy Pond and things like that. So I'd probably say Matt. But the general gist is I probably don't have a favourite Doctor, to be honest.
Yeah, I think as well with the thing is with all of the Doctors are obviously they're all different in their own way, but like a long shot, especially when you compare like Jodie to like Capaldi or something with how the characters are. But also when people say like favorite Doctors, it's not just the Doctor, like it is the writing, because Jodie's Doctor was a very strong Doctor, but her writing wasn't always like the best.
Oh yeah, I really 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 enjoyed her, like with what she could do with the scripts that she was doing. And I enjoyed a couple of her episodes, like not as much as I would have hoped to enjoy. But I think her as the Doctor, like I've got a lot of merchandise of her because I love her. I think she's fantastic. She was fantastic. But yeah, I think it's just the writing that kind of failed a little bit with her.
Yeah, it would have been really nice to. Obviously, I know RTD obviously would every single time choose to start fresh and just start his whole new own era of the show again. But I think if he didn't want to do that, then it would have been really nice to see her written under him.
Because, absolutely! Like I've seen that comment a lot on the internet.
Yeah,
and I 100% agree with that. Yeah.
Because his scripts, especially with the fact of not even just her, but because his characters are, he makes sure all of his side characters are good, and then that just helps the Doctor because they have to act off of each other. I think that's another thing that let her down as well, just a bit more, is because I don't know if it's the writing or the acting of Tosin Cole, but he did just kind of stand there a lot of the time.
Oh God, don't even get me started. I didn't Yaz. It took me a very long time to like Yaz. Graham, pretty much, I enjoyed him from the get go. He was very, very human, very lovable. And then Tosin Cole, I enjoyed him. I think in Jodie's probably first few episodes, and then I was like, oh yes, good. We're going to explore obviously. You can say disability, I guess.
Yeah.
And I thought that'll be really, really interesting because it's something different. And then it kind of just went a lot of the storylines for 13th Doctor's companions kind of just went nowhere, which was really disappointing because I was hoping to see a lot of Yaz as a cop. I think that would have been really cool.
Yeah, when we found out she was, because when they announced the companions, that was one of the first things they said, that she was a police officer. And in that little trailer, I don't know if you got it, but there was a TV spot with the Doctor jumping through time to seeing all the different companions, and Yaz was in her police outfit, and obviously in The Woman Who Fell to Earth, Yaz is a police officer. I think it was definitely a big missed opportunity to not have her be more like that throughout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got scatterings of it in series 12 with I can't remember the name of that episode, but we saw her sort of bits and pieces of her, and then in Flux there was kind of nothing. Did she not go to war?
Completely disappeared.
Yeah.
Because also series 12 made the reference at the beginning that the Doctor kept getting her sign off by some higher up thing or whatever. But then I said by Flux, there was just no mention of that. It just completely had gone.
Yeah.
There was just nothing.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we saw her in Revolution back on Earth, I know Ryan and Graham didn't have jobs before, so it's fine to not do that. But we saw Ryan do some other stuff with Graham. But surely she should have been working, but instead she's just staying in the TARDIS. Surely you could have had a little bit more going on there.
Even just a 5-minute scene of her leaving not even a 5-minute scene, just a 2-second scene of her leaving work in the morning or something like that. That would have not explained, but it would have given us a hint that she's still. I think it was a very missed opportunity. Yeah.
It could have also worked better in the story, showing that like she's very much invested in like doing her TARDIS work, because we could have seen her like, you know, leave very early morning from a night shift to then, rather
Yeah.
than go home, to then go to the TARDIS and start working there all day.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course in like the Power of the Doctor, she's like flying the TARDIS.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my friend about this as well. Like it would have been great to have just like literally like a 2-second scene of the Doctor teaching her in like the end of Legend of the Sea Devils or something like that, just to push that forward. But no.
Yeah, or like even if they did it in Power of the Doctor, like, because Yaz wasn't really needed on the train, you could have had the Doctor and Dan go down, and Yaz is like trying her best to keep the TARDIS stable from what the Doctor's told her.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you think of Jodie's kind of final season? Like, you know, Flux, the kind of meant to be her big best one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed probably I wasn't a huge fan of the last 2 episodes, like many people. But the first 4, sorry, I loved War of the Sontarans. I think that was amazing. One thing at Chris Chibnall is that I'm not a huge fan of his writing, but I think all the classic monsters he's brought in, I think he's done brilliantly.
Yeah.
Like the Sontarans, I think they're one of my favourite Doctor Who monsters. They are just awesome. So I think he did them so well. I was so happy with that. And the Weeping Angels, I think for me, he made them terrifying again.
Yeah, he definitely did.
I think the last time I was scared of them was back in Series 5. So to see like literally like that tunnel scene with all the hands coming out freaked me out. But I did enjoy Flux, like much better than Series 11 and 12, I think. It started off strong, and I think towards the end of the 4th episode, it started to droop a little bit.
Yeah.
And then a lot of rushed explanations, and then no explanations at all, like what happened after the flux, like the half of the universe is gone. A friend and I were just discussing, like, in the Power of the Doctor, like, or Legend of the Sea Devils, or Eve of the Daleks, like, half the universe is gone, and they're kind of just ignoring that, and I didn't like how it ended, to be honest.
Yeah, I think as well, like so like the later half of it starting to feel droopy. I think it's because we knew there was, like only about 3 episodes left, and we still had like no answers, and every episode just giving us more questions, and you can kind of sense, okay, either start like, it's gonna have to be rushed.
Exactly, and Chibnall like set up some fantastic questions. He set up some really good kind of things at the start of Flux that could have expanded throughout the series, and really, really been like some really cool like moments. But then it kind of just didn't lead anywhere. Like the Grand Serpent, I think. I love him in Line of Duty. I can't remember his name, but I love the actor in Line of Duty, and I think he plays such a great villain. And I thought he was really good in Doctor Who, and then it kind of just like, this. To be honest, I can't even remember what happened to him. I know he died or something.
Yeah, I don't know what happened either. Did this something happen with the actual serpent, or I literally can't remember either. It's gone blank.
He got locked in the tunnels or something. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. God, but he was a great villain that just went nowhere as well, which was really disappointing because I do like the actor a lot.
I think as well, like you said, he's not the best at always. He can create some good villains, but he's not necessarily the best in like taking them or like writing their full story. But then, you said, with him bringing back existing villains, he's really good at that. Like I feel like you can start to see that from Resolution, where when he brings back the Daleks, like he really makes them. He does what Dalek does, and is like, okay, there's one, and just one is enough.
Oh, absolutely. And like the Daleks are my favorite monsters of all time. So
yeah,
I can remember watching the teaser trailer for Resolution, and the Doctor mentioning this is the deadliest DNA or whatever it is of the deadliest creature in the universe. I can remember watching that teaser trailer and going, I swear to God, if it's not a Dalek, I'm going to be so angry.
Yeah.
So I was so glad that it was. But as you said, like he's so good with the classic monsters, in my opinion. Like he's the Cybermen, the Daleks, the Sontarans, the Weeping Angels. The only one that he's really let me down with is probably the Sea Devils. The look of them is great, but I was not a big fan of the actual episode. I think the episode wasn't strong enough to introduce them into New Who, I think.
Yeah, that was a really big like just flop. I think like we've been hyping them up for so long, and we're like, oh, they definitely deserve to be in either series 11 or 12. Like they needed a
Like,
proper episode, not just to be like, okay, here's just a random episode for the sake of having one.
yeah, like I really love the look that they brought to them. I think the pirate looks so good on these Sea Devils, for New Who, but just overall like the overall like story in that episode was not great, and I was so excited because I loved the Sea Devil story with the Third Doctor. So I was a bit disappointed by that. But apart from that, every other classic Doctor he's done in his era, I think he's done really well.
Yeah, he definitely has. I think he definitely seems better when he's writing for like existing characters that he doesn't have to worry about setting up, rather than like ones that he has to fully create and like write the ending for as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what, as I said before, like the Weeping Angels, I haven't been scared of them since series 5. I can remember watching the two-parter back in 2010, and I was absolutely terrified. So seeing them back in Flux, like I was a bit nervous of how he was going to do it in Flux, to be honest. Like I loved Village of the Angels. I thought that was awesome. And one thing like I loved about Flux as well was the cliffhangers. So every cliffhanger was so good, and I think the Weeping Angel one was just awesome.
Also, what you said about kind of the look of the Sea Devils, because he did, because he is on obviously Russell T Davies, he set up the look of like the Dalek to Cybermen and all of that. And Moffat had a few different Cybermen pop up, but Chibnall was really since it came back with Russell the only one to have actually fully redesigned all of the big monsters.
Yeah, absolutely. And like a lot of people, I know a lot of people aren't big fans of the new Cybermen look. I'm not a huge fan of the spikes on their legs, but apart from that, I think he did really well giving them a whole new look as well.
Yeah, I think I really like them.
Love. I love the mix of like classic Who and new Who in these Cybermen.
Yeah, I do really like the Daleks as well, like his defense drones. I feel like I said this in another podcast, but I don't think it would work. They'd work with any other Doctor, but I think for Jodie they work really, really well.
Well, that's what I mean. Like in Resolution, this Dalek kind of used Sheffield steel to build itself up, and obviously you're kind of like, oh yeah, whatever. But it somehow, in my opinion anyway, it somehow worked so well.
Yeah,
like I thought it was so clever and just so cool. And like as I said, like the Dalek's my favorite Doctor Who monsters anyway. So I'm probably a bit biased when it comes to the Daleks. Like I just love anything to do with the Daleks.
So do I. I mean, I'm called Force Daleks. So I'm pretty biased as well.
Yeah, exactly.
I do think as well with the him redesigning kind of enemies and stuff with his Cybermen and his Daleks, and like you said, the Silurians. But I think what he understood was, whereas Russell seemed to want to kind of reimagine like a load of the classic villains, like he did with the Daleks, they almost looked like reimagined versions. Same for his Sontarans, same for his Cybermen especially. But Chibnall seemed to understand the classics and just know that they needed to be updated, because those Sontaran designs were really good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like and one of my favourite stories is the Sontaran two-parter in series 4, and I just love how they don't care how many people they kill. They don't care about casualties. They just want to win. They just love war. And so Stephen Moffat's era, he kind of dumbed them down a lot, sadly, because I love the Sontarans. As much as I love Strax, like don't get me wrong, I think he's such a funny character and it's such a great character. But he dumbed them down a lot, and I think Chibnall. So I was also very worried about him bringing the Sontarans into Flux as well, because I was like, oh god, how's he going to do this? Because of, they haven't had good history in New Who, to be honest. But they released the promo picture of them in Flux, and oh god, I thought they looked incredible, and like they just looked dirty, they looked disgusting. They are just there to win a war basically, and I think that was really, really good.
Yeah, I think it was good as well by putting them. He definitely made the right choice by having their main focus being like a different time zone, whereas like in the past, because otherwise it would have, like you said, because the series 42 part is really good. It would have just turned kind of into that again, where it would have just been Centaurans versus like Unit or something. So putting them in the past and then actually allowing them to have like a proper fight
Yeah.
with like soldiers and stuff and all of that blood and all of that like loss, it was really good and worked really well for them to making them seem like proper warriors again.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the War of the Sontarans is probably my favorite episode of Flux.
Yeah.
And the only real criticism I've got about that story is probably the fact that we didn't see more of the war between the humans and the Sontarans. That's literally the only thing I didn't really like. But apart from that, I think they were so good in Doctor Who Flux.
What did you think on, obviously, because we've spoken a lot about Chibnall's other classic villains he's brought back, but what did you think about his master? Because Chibnall's master was it was very different. Like, Missy was pretty much the same throughout, same for Sim, but Sasha's one was very different. Like, we didn't even know he was the master really until the end of his first story. And then he was just very crazy. And then he was more kind of like controlled in the finale. And then, in Flux, he was like crazy, but then also kind of like not crazy at the same time. Like, there was a lot of difference in him. How did you feel about like
Yeah.
his master compared to the others?
Well, I can remember. Yeah, I watched Spyfall, and like I wouldn't have guessed that he was the master. Like,
Yeah, neither did I.
one of the one of my other favorite things about Chibnall is his secrecy, and like everyone complained about how secrets and like how he was given so many secrets about the power of the Doctor. And after watching it, I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I get why it was so secret now about it, like why he wasn't revealing anything. Like one leak, I think, and we would have it would have been ruined. But with the Master, the only thing I really enjoyed his interpretation of the Master. I really liked kind of insanity of him.
Yeah.
And him and Jodie bounced off each other really, really well, I think. He, as you said, like he's very kind of different. Like he's like bipolar, to be honest.
Yeah, he's very unhinged.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I think Sasha did such a good job, and I love how much he loved playing the Master as well. Like if you follow him on Instagram or Twitter,
Yeah.
he was so vocal about how much he loved playing the Master, and I think that's awesome as well. But that cliffhanger in Spyfall, I can remember like almost probably gasping out loud, to be honest. It was such a good cliffhanger, finding out that he was the Master. But the only thing I wasn't a big fan of was the fact that they kind of made him after Missy. I wasn't happy with that. Just because, like, hats off to Moffat, he did so much work building Missy up as a character and then making her obviously good by the end of it. And then I was a bit annoyed that Chibnall kind of just ruined that and took that away from him. But apart from that, I thought he was a really, really good Master. A lot of his kind of plans to take over were a bit not rubbish. I don't think there were strong kind of plot points to chuck in there. But I thought he was really, really good. Not my favourite Master, but yeah, I thought he was great.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with what you said about Missy. I feel like if it would have been much better to just properly, firmly establish for like all the different showrunners that come and like Chibnall, who's gone now, that Missy is the last one, because River Song had that established, and they kind of I know obviously it was Moffat's character, but it was still stuck to that, like she was going to die in the library, and that was that.
I honestly wish that at the end of the Power of the Doctor, when he was dying, that we kind of had one last cameo and just had John Sims' face start to appear. Like he started regenerating Michelle Gomez. I think that would have been great that he came before Missy, and we kind of saw one last cameo of Michelle Gomez, and his face started to kind of morph into Missy's. That would have been really, really good. And that would have kind of taken away all my like hatred towards the idea of him coming after Missy.
What did you because we said he was in Power of the Doctor and stuff, and how I've really liked how that kind of, I know obviously Wild Enough and Time did it as well, that kind of mirrored death ending with like the Doctor and the Master both like lying there. But what did you think of Power of the Doctor as a whole?
A lot of it was fan service, and to be fair, I was totally okay with it. Like, I loved it. I loved it so much. So as I said, like I woke up at 3 a.m. to watch it, but I still saw a little bit of spoilers as I woke up that morning. Like I think it was Radio Times article or something about David Tennant, and I thought, okay, like I thought, she's going to regenerate to David, so I'm a bit disappointed that I found that out, but I kind of am not surprised. But as the episode as a whole, I really, really loved it, and there's so many things that I didn't expect, that many people didn't expect, to be honest. But I kind of literally, like, I think I posted a TikTok of my reactions to it, that I just didn't. Like my partner managed to capture some of my reactions to the Doctor's cameos and things. Like I just didn't expect so much of it. Sorry. And I honestly loved it. Like a lot of people have been complaining that it's just like to cater to fans. But like somewhat, it's the 100th anniversary of the BBC. Like let them give us as many. They can give us as many cameos as they want, and I'll be happy. But I thought the overall story, I think, was honestly not terrible. I think this is one of the stronger episodes that Jim was written.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was really, really good. And I've only watched it twice, and I think the second time that I started watching it, I thought, hopefully I've kind of haven't taken it all in, and hopefully it's not going to be worse second time around. But I think if anything, I just loved it even more, and it made it very emotional seeing like all the classic Doctors again.
Yeah, I was not, we've kind of heard rumors and stuff about, the seventh Doctor returning. And then when suddenly we saw the first Doctor pop up, I was just like, I was really not expecting any of those at all. And then for, all the rest of the shop, like McGann especially, I was just like, what are they doing? Like, this is actually crazy.
Yeah, like we saw the like rumors of Mel was going to appear next year in series 14. So like I didn't expect Ian Chesterton, to be honest, and Jo Grant as well. Like she's one of my favorite Doctor Who companions. So like, it just I like it. Towards the end, I thought they're done with the cameos. That's it. And then we saw like Ian popped up and Jo and Mel, and I freaked out. There was a lot of like a lot of rumors that were rumored were confirmed in this story. Like I saw the rumor that there's going to be classic Doctors are going to be incorporated somehow, and I read that it was just going to be through costume.
Yeah.
So I saw, the Master and he's in their, Seven's vest and the coat and things like that, and I thought, okay, that's probably it. And then we had the Doctors, so I definitely wasn't expecting it, that's for sure. But I thought it was a great episode.
With like all of the companions at the end, did you see like that script bit that was like a screenshot of the script that was shown with the original plan to have more companions?
Yeah.
Like I thought that was like nice. I feel like that would have been even more shocking to see Jackie Tyler of like what's that song about Jackie Tyler? Or am I imagining that?
No, it was something about who was it? It was Jackie Tyler and Martha? I think it was Martha.
Yeah.
Yeah, Martha Jones.
The only thing is that I wouldn't, if they did that, isn't Jackie meant to be stuck in another universe?
Yeah. To be honest, I don't think knowing Chibnall, I think he kind of would have just completely ignored it and just had her anyway.
She would have just appeared like, oh, I'm back.
Oh yeah, it's Jackie Tyler. To be honest, I wouldn't be surprised. I know a lot of people aren't huge fans of Martha, sadly. I think she's amazing. I love Freema, and I love Martha. I love Series 3. So I think they definitely should have had Martha. Like, that would have made it so much better. I love Martha Jones, so that would have been really good.
Especially because it was a unit story as well. Like, I was kind of hoping that, okay, we've got Unit back. We've got all of those, and we know Martha works for units. Maybe we could get something, but I was a little bit disappointed as well when we didn't see her,
Yeah. It would have been nice to have Martha, but that's okay. And then they had there was like the iPad screen or something on the chair.
Yeah.
Like I saw that, and then I obviously watched it the second time, and I like focused more on the chair. They didn't actually show the actual iPad on the chair. There was an empty chair, and then like you could see obviously like a screen. So I think that was more left for the Whovians' imagination, I guess.
Yeah, I saw people on Twitter as well that said Jo Grant put it there for Sarah Jane.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
there was definitely a lot of people. Someone was like, Donna's running late, or like Wilf and Donna are stuck in traffic, something like that. I saw lots. So I
I would
do
have
think
been,
that chair being there is kind of a nice touch.
yeah, I would have been awesome to have maybe Wilfred to kind of send us into the 60th, but
Yeah,
that's all right. He's coming back next year. That's okay.
yeah, that's okay. We're gonna have more Wilf content. Hopefully,
Oh
a lot
yeah.
more Wilf content. Maybe Wilf. Oh my god! I just had a thought. Imagine if they make Wilf kill the Doctor again.
Oh god.
Oh no! I just
Like
had a thought about that.
it only clicked in my head yesterday. Like I was reading something yesterday about the 60th and like David Tennant. It only clicked into my head yesterday that we've only got him for like three episodes, and
Yeah,
then we get literally get another regeneration. So that's gonna be, yeah. I don't, yeah. We'll see.
because like when I made sure that I was recording my reaction to Power of the Doctor, because it was like, okay, our regeneration happens like once every 5 or 6 years. So I want to make
Yeah,
sure that I've got this on reaction for like a while, because it's going to be a while to the next one. And then obviously it's like, oh, actually, no, it's not. It's next year. But I mean, I
yeah,
think also I really wanted my reaction to this one because we'd we didn't know who it was going to turn into.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
no one. Obviously, I know you said you saw like a spoiler, but before the episode came out, we didn't know she was gonna turn into, whether it's gonna be Shooty or the 10th Doctor.
yeah.
Like we really had
Well,
no
that's it.
idea.
Like, yeah, I was discussing that with a friend of mine. I was like, this is something completely different for Doctor Who. Like, this
Mm,
is so new and so different. Um, and I think before I even watched the episode, I don't really know who I was expecting, to be honest. I didn't know if I was like, I don't think I was leaning towards, Shooty or David. Yeah, I didn't really know what to expect.
yeah, I think when it also the thing that shocked me, I think more than David's regeneration, like her regenerating to David, was them when we had that trailer afterwards and Shooty showed up. That
Yeah.
was the
Oh
bit that
yeah.
really
Yeah.
made me go, "Oh my god, this is happening." Like this is it now.
Yeah.
Like Children Era is done. We are in Russell T Davies territory, and like that trailer and that regeneration was him just basically dropping a bomb on the wall, and it's like, "Yep, it's my turn."
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like a lot of people. I was reading a thread on Twitter the other day. A couple of fans are complaining that they're moving on too quickly, but it's
Yeah,
kind of been like this. It's been like this every time. Like
yeah,
we've had, as soon as David left, Matt was kind of ushered in, and we kind of got all this new
mm.
stuff. So it's not. It's like obviously. I know Russell said a few months ago that he was gonna make sure, it was going to be a while before we saw any content, but he was going to make sure that we still kind of got updates, and he still had a lot of surprises for us.
Yeah.
So it's I understand like people complaining and they're a bit disappointed that they didn't wait a while, but it's kind of it's kind of been like that for every time. It's been ushered in very quickly every new era.
I feel like when I've seen those tweets as well, and a lot of those tweets are from they're from like I guess you could say the Jodie stans. Because
Yeah,
and a lot of those Jodie stands have they've probably gone back on iPlayer or whatnot and watched all of Doctor Who, like from the modern era, but they first joined Doctor Who in the Chibnall era, so and the Chibnall era has been very slow, like when
yeah,
there's not content it has been very slow moving, so I think they probably just feel like that's how it is like, and then obviously Russell's come back and it's just gone back to how, like you said, how it used to be, with everything that's being ushered in, and they were almost not that they're not ready for it, but that they didn't expect it being like that.
yeah,
But it's not the fact
yeah.
that it's Jodie's gone, that let's just quickly brush it under the rug. It is just okay. The Doctor's gone. She's had 5 or 6 years. It's time to jump into the future and like get the new one rolling.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, especially with how Russell's kind of gonna. It looks how he's gonna treat this era. It looks like he's gonna treat it huge. He's gonna
Yeah.
really kind of throw Doctor Who out there like it was when the revival came on.
Mm.
I don't blame him for kind of getting all this out quickly, and especially like they're supposed to start filming series 14 in December.
Yeah.
So I think for the Doctor Who Day this month, I think we're possibly going to get a costume reveal and companion reveal because
Yeah.
they're not going to really hide it.
I've seen a lot of people. It's very much kind of what one. I almost feel like we could get a still image with the Doctor and companion both in outfit.
Yeah. Well, they're
And
gonna. I think they're gonna have to, because unless they're gonna do all their filming in studio or something like that, like
yeah,
they're not gonna be able to keep it a secret,
they're really not.
unfortunately.
Like and I
No.
think with the way that Russell seems to, because Chibnall probably could have kept it a secret. I mean, he did, like where he kept a lot of his stuff secret. But Russell, he
Yeah.
said he can in like an interview, but he doesn't want to. That's why he did film the 60th in Camden. Like, really, did the 60th have to be filmed in Camden? Not really. Like, they could have just built like an easy set, especially with the budget we know that they have. So, like, it is his choice, and it's good that he knows, okay, we do need to film in public every now and then to like keep the ball rolling and keep like hype going. So I think, yeah, definitely we're gonna be able to see his costume whether they announce it or not. So they're gonna, it's best just to announce it.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, they announced David and Catherine coming back.
Yeah,
That they were filming in public, so I think that it's going to be exactly like that. I think.
yeah. Like even Chibnall had to do that when he knew he really had to. Like when the Jadoon were filming in public, he made sure that like that image got out.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when he really had to reveal something, he did do it like officially.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Also, we have in the UK here, we have Children in Need next week, and
Oh, I didn't even
sometimes,
think of that. Yeah.
like we get some stuff for that sometimes, and I did feel like it would have been nice to have that kind of Born Again comic strip on Children in Need, like his first one was.
Yes.
But I don't.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen
I didn't
because it's
even
in
think of
comic.
Children in Need.
But like we could easily get a preview clip. We could
Yeah.
get maybe Shooty will walk out with the companion, because like Children in Need, they have like different hosts come on to like host different sections of it and like announce different things. He could easily, because I know like every like hour or something they announce the budget, not budget, like the amount they've raised. They could easily be like, okay, here is now the new Doctor in outfit with companion to come announce how much we've raised so far. Like it could be a proper like live reveal on TV.
Yeah, that would be. I didn't even think of Children in Need, to be honest. That would be. Yeah, that'd be something. That's for sure.
Yeah, I
So
think.
then, what? Who would you pick as the next companion?
Well, see, I made it. I was a bit risky. I really thought it was going to be someone, so I betted on them. And then obviously the magazine came out. Like I didn't bet with money. Like I bet with my friend. I was like, okay, if I'm wrong, you get to control my profile picture for like a week. But
Yeah.
if I would like, and I still think it has a chance of being someone called Millie Gibson.
Okay, I
And
don't think I
they
know.
were in a British soap called Coronation Street, and they have like they left like last month or something, or a little bit just after that. And their acting is really good. I think they bounce off of Shooty really well, but I definitely just
Okay.
think no matter who the companion is, sure, if you want to give them like a partner or something like Mickey in series 1, which I think that's actually a good idea, because then you can start building up your Earth team a bit more. But I
Yeah.
think it should be one companion, like not more than that.
Well, I know there was a quote from Doctor Who magazine the other day that said Russell said this next companion is one for the ages,
Yeah.
or something like that. So I'm honestly, I don't even think I've created my own list of who I would like the companion to be honest. Because there's so many, like, I don't know many of the kind of smaller actors in the UK, so there's not really many for me to choose from. But like, from that quote from Russell T Davies in Doctor Who magazine, I'm now hoping for a historic companion. I'm really hoping for someone from
That
like
could be
the
good.
1970s, something like that would be really cool.
Because I know there was you probably wouldn't have seen it because it was more like British, like TV talk shows, like morning TV shows, whatever. But there was there's been a lot of discussion that whoever the next Doctor Who companion is going to be, they're going to have a disability, because there was an actress who was in a wheelchair in years and years, and she's also a big Finnish.
Yeah.
Her name has slipped my mind. Also,
Yes, I know
there
who
was
exactly you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah, there was also someone who was in EastEnders who was rumored to be joining Doctor Who, and they left a couple months ago, and she's deaf.
And yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So like, there's a lot of this guy, and one for the ages. Like it could mean it's like you said, it's just something we've not seen in a while or seen before. It could mean something like that, where it's something that like actor wise the TV show has never done before.
Yeah.
Or it is just that they're really well written.
See, in my perfect mind, like that rumor of Mel coming back would be amazing. I would love to
Oh,
see a classic Who companion travel with the Doctor for a series. Like, I'm a huge fan of Ace. Like, I love
I
Ace. So
I
seeing
never
her in the
thought
Power of the
about that.
Doctor,
I never thought
seeing her
about
in the
Mel
Power of the
coming back.
Doctor was amazing.
Yeah, she was. She having like them back for Ace and Tegan and Paradox is really good.
So I'd love to see more of her. Like, she was a badass in the Power of the Doctor. I would
Yeah,
love to see more of Ace.
I never thought about having Mel or like a classic companion back with a new Doctor.
Yeah,
That is a
there
really
was
good
that.
way to keep like the older viewers watching.
I would love that to happen. But I think I'm just that's just my inner fanboy kind of hoping.
I really do like that idea actually though. Now you've said it, and we obviously we don't know different shots for the 60th were filmed in different times. They wasn't filmed in order. I don't think so.
Yeah,
Then when that we saw that kind of Mel rumor because we think Catherine Tate's shouting Mel. I don't do we was they I don't know if David Tennant was on set that day because she
was
could.
there? Did she shout Mel? I didn't even know she was
Yeah,
shouting
so
Mel.
basically
Oh my god!
the TARDIS was like landed under some um like in not some alleyway but like some a very small bridge thing that only really the TARDIS could fit under, like the perfect place for it to park, just like some back street in
Yeah,
London. And it was one of the filming things that they wanted to keep secret. They were keeping people far away, they were stopping pictures, and they had like the big black screens up to block as much as they can. But people are crafty. They managed to get tiny little snippets, and one of those snippets was a video, and the audio is a bit muffled, but it does really sound like. So it's like Donna's basically like running, not like panicking running, but like just quickly going towards the TARDIS, and she opens the door
yeah.
and she's like, "Come on, Mel," and then Donna steps in.
I have not seen that. Oh my god! I'm gonna have to try and search for that video. I had no idea about that
Yeah,
video.
it was
Oh, okay,
really.
okay.
So that's why I genuinely think Mel will be in the 60th. So that's why I was actually like, oh, that is a really good idea when you said maybe Mel being like the next companion or something. Especially, like you said again, with the quote "one for the ages." That would be one for the ages. Have someone come back. And just thinking about
Yeah,
this now as I'm talking, one for the ages. For the ages could mean like the people who watched classic Who coming
yeah.
back. Like maybe you're onto something here. That could be a really good idea. Maybe your fanboy dream will come true.
But see, like for the 60th as well, like we've seen, we've got David and Catherine and Wilf and
Mm,
hopefully Mel, and like I'm kind of hoping that there's. I think after the Power of the Doctor, I think Russell T Davies has a lot to live up to with the 60th
yeah,
anniversary, um, and even David Tennant said there's still so many surprises that we haven't seen yet. So I'm hoping there's still some classic Doctors that are in there somewhere, or even Matt or.
yeah,
And I know Peter Capaldi said absolutely not, but I'm really hoping that he just for one little scene. Like I'm hoping there's so much more, and there probably is. I'm hoping there's so much more to what we've actually seen so far.
yeah. I definitely think that I actually think we know very little about the 60th because when you look at the trailer, they were very, very careful of what they showed us. Everything in the trailer except Shooty, we already knew about. Like,
Yeah,
we
that's a good
saw the
point,
TARDIS
actually.
in
Yeah,
Camden. We saw that truck being flipped filming. We saw them filming their little alien ship that we worked out was probably Beep the Meeps. So,
yeah.
nothing except that Shooty shot, which is literally just Shooty and some clouds. So, that could be anywhere and mean anything. We literally know nothing. Nothing new from what we already know.
So where do you stand on Neil Patrick Harris in the 60th?
I think that it's going to be. What, do you mean like his character wise and how big it's going to be?
Yeah. Let's go with that. Yeah.
So I feel like, or do you mean about some things that people have said about like the actor?
Let's go both. Both.
Okay, so we'll start. I'll start with the story one. We'll go with the easy one first. I think that definitely the clothes changing and everything, and there was a lot of on Twitter recently, a lot of stuff about that. I think the clothes changing is obviously time has gone wrong. or not wrong, or
Yeah,
like it's being changed or being rewritten. And that is definitely to do with the Toymaker. I think the Toymaker is the main villain of the 60th. That's
yeah.
why he's filming, that's why he was announced, like, properly and officially. Because we've seen the other villains that, like, they've been filming with for a bit, but they weren't announced. And they could have been. So I feel like it's definitely the case of, okay, Toymaker's the main one. This is who's going to be leading it. But for the actor, I don't actually know a lot about that. So maybe you'd have to kind of fill me in.
The only really kind of serious, even I say serious, but it was still more very comedic role that I've seen Neil in is a series of unfortunate events on Netflix,
Mm,
um, and he was so good as Count Olaf. I think he was really great, and I'm a big fan of How I Met Your Mother as well, and I think he's really great. With him in It's a Sin, which I haven't watched. I have been told by many people to watch that. Which I haven't watched It's a Sin, but apparently he's really great in that as well. So I do like Neil, as he seems like such a nice person because I follow him on Instagram and things like that as well. But as an actor, I think he's fantastic. Because he's obviously a gay man. To give us someone like Barney Stinson on How I Met Your Mother, like, phew, he's just the complete opposite. Um, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I agree that he's playing the toy maker. I think that is 100% where the way I'm leaning as well. I think he's definitely the toy maker, and like the kind of filming scenes, videos that we've seen.
mm,
He looks like he's kind of messing with the Doctor. Like he's very
yeah.
sarcastic and very kind of he doesn't care how much. Like in one of the filming videos was like explosions in the background, people were running.
Oh yeah,
He was
they were
like
just
dancing.
dancing.
Yeah, him dancing in the street and then kind of taking the Doctor's hands and making the Doctor dance with him. I think he's going to be. I honestly think he's going to be an iconic villain. I think he's going to kind of. He doesn't care how much destruction he causes. Like this is not his planet. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
Um,
If it goes wrong,
I think it's
because
going to
like
be
the
awesome.
Celestials' whole point is like, they just get bored and they're just doing this for fun. So that even if
Yeah,
the Doctor
yeah.
messes and like ruins his plans, he doesn't really care. He's had his fun.
But I definitely think that he's got something to do with why David's back as well.
Yeah.
Definitely think so.
I wonder if yeah, I think that's definitely going to be the case. The thing is, I made a video talking about the Toymaker a few days ago, and like some of the plot points is
Yeah.
because it's either going to be, like he's messed with time, or obviously we know he has, and like it's indirectly then affected the Doctor, or he is, like you
Yeah.
said, he's just playing with the Doctor. He's just purposefully just messing with the Doctor just to wind him up and like mess up his life.
Yes, I'm very excited now to see how Wilf and Donna come into that as well now.
Yeah,
Like, what do they, obviously her mind, like the doctor said, her mind's going to burn if she remembers anything. So, like, I don't know. Not sure.
it's gonna be really interesting, I think, to see how everything works. Because if it was like they've just completely wiped the history and it's like almost back to series 4, then Donna's
Yeah,
daughter wouldn't be there and like all of that. So it's not that
yeah,
like time's
exactly.
been just flat out erased. It's that the fact that it has been changed, but changed to what and why.
Yeah, exactly. And I think her husband was spotted on set as
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
the
he
guy who
was.
played her husband at that time. So it, like, yeah, I don't, yeah, I'm not sure. It's going to be like very interesting, and I think it's going to be awesome to see all these filming pictures and filming videos. I think it's going to be really cool to see all of them actually come together.
Mm. I think
So,
definitely that the
yeah.
60th is looking to be very big, and I think I'm almost
Oh yeah,
wondering as well is for the toy maker is we know he's leading the 60th. I'm wondering if maybe the 60th will set up either the series 14 arc or a multi arc for Shooty, and that if the toy maker was almost like hired by a bigger player, like a bigger villain, that is just basically like, okay,
ooh,
you need to mess up the Doctor's timeline because I've got my own plan,
yeah.
and then Toy Maker's like, oh, okay, sure.
Oh, I do like that idea.
And
That
then
would be really
like
good.
in series 14 we find out like other villains are like being like told to do things, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is
Yeah,
bad, but who's telling you to do it?
yeah,
And then it's like some big dramatic story arc with like you're guessing with like a couple series like who is this, and it keeps building up and up, and maybe they make you think it's like the Master or something, and then turns out it's happening to the Master as well. It's like some joint plot. I don't know. I think the 60th will be used to set up Series 14 and beyond.
Oh, absolutely, and like especially with that teaser trailer at the end of the Power of the Doctor, like. Was that a teaser trailer for the 60th, or was that like a kind of mix of what they filmed? Oh, they didn't film anything of Series 14, to be honest. So shooting must be in the 60th.
Well,
Because I don't know.
they
To me,
said they were very
that little clip
again.
of Shooty.
They said it contained footage from all 3 specials. Then recently we found out that next year there are actually 4 specials.
Yeah,
So the thing is, it's like there's definitely going to be, like you said, that's teasing some of Shooty's stuff. So then is Shooty's thing maybe from the 4th special that they just said it was 3 because maybe at that point they thought, okay, we can still keep it under the wraps. Like it's like
yeah.
you
I
said,
don't
maybe
know.
that Shooty shot isn't from the 60th and is from his like festive special, like the 4th one.
Well, I know that like back when Russell T Davies was showrunner, a lot of his story arcs kind of went over multiple series,
Yeah.
like the vote sets and stuff like that. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the 60th is setting up, as you said, like a huge story arc. I would not be surprised at all, and it would feel like very Russell T Davies of him to do something like that.
It would also be like especially if it ended with like Shooty regenerated, it would feel like it's been a very long paid off thing because it's not like it's been going on for a few seasons. It's like it's been going on then this entire Doctor's life. So
Yeah,
it would
yeah,
feel really
exactly.
like, okay, this is a really like just because of that already helps it feel like, okay, this is a massive deal.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it's all will be revealed next year,
Yeah.
and I think the 23rd this month, I think we might hopefully get something. And as you
Oh
said,
no,
with
we
Children
will.
in
We,
Need as
we
well.
will definitely get something. I mean, he was going through a stage where he was just dropping stuff on Sundays for the fun of it because it was just every Sunday.
Yeah,
So he's not. It's not even just like it's the 23rd of a month. It is literally the main Doctor Who day.
yeah, and that's what I mean. Like here in Australia, I don't get it until I wake up the next morning. So it's
Yeah.
I go to bed because normally they tease these kind of things and say, oh, there's announcement coming in a few hours or something
Yeah.
like that, and I'd go to bed kind of like, oh, okay, I'll wake up and there'll be some Doctor Who news, and it always happens the next morning. I wake up at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. because I'm just too excited to find out what the actual news is.
How did you find out about Shooty? Did you wake up and see that? Because obviously we didn't know that was coming at all. We didn't even get like, oh, tomorrow it's coming. We literally just that I didn't believe it was the Doctor. The way I found
Yeah.
out was when I saw Georgia Tennant's tweet to saying hello dad. That's how I found out Shooty was the Doctor.
Well, in England they announced it like early in the morning. I don't know
Yeah,
what time was
I think it was
you
like
guys, but
11
here I
o'clock.
think it was like PM. So I was still awake, thank God. But I kind of was kind of just sat there and stared at my phone, and I was very honestly, I was kind of a bit disappointed that that's how they
Yeah,
announced
I
it.
definitely felt that as well.
Like we had Capaldi come out on the actual live show,
Mm.
and I woke up at like 3 a.m. back in 2013 to
Like,
watch
and
that.
Jodie had the trailer as well, like her little intro
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Because also that came out on I believe that happened on a Sunday that dropped. And then the next Saturday, like the Saturday coming up from that Sunday, was a massive football match, which is, and Jodie's was announced at the massive tennis match. So people were kind
yeah.
of thinking, okay, they're gonna do some kind of trailer reveal there. So everyone's like, gearing up for a big, proper, exciting reveal, and then we just wake up and it's just been dropped.
Yeah, like I can remember sitting there, kind of just staring at my phone, sort of very uh, confused, I guess,
Yeah.
and sort of like, as you said, like I couldn't really believe he was the Doctor. Like nothing against Shooty, I've seen him in Sex Education. I think
Mm.
he's incredible. And I'm like this with every new Doctor that gets announced. I'm always like, nah, I don't like them. Like I was like that with Peter. I was like that with Jodie. And over the last few months, I rewatched Sex Education, and I've seen all these clips and these interviews with Shooty, and like there's that Q&A video that came out 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
to announce Disney Plus, and I'm so excited for him now. Like I love his energy, his positivity is incredible, and I love the fact that he's going back and rewatching Doctor Who. In that Q&A, I think he said like the Beast was what he wanted to see. So I think
Yeah.
he's kind of he's very early on. I think he's only like series 2 or 3 in his rewatch.
Also, I think as well with like he said he wanted to go up against a lot more like mythological characters.
Yeah,
So, and him saying about the Beast as well. I definitely think then series 14 will include something like that. I mean, we actually have our first already. Like it's not even begun filming, and we already have like a kind of time zone for an episode, don't we? That was dropped in DWM.
yeah.
Like that is
Um,
really intriguing because time zones really we probably you see I, that's not, it seems I can't really make up my mind why they dropped that because you couldn't really pick out that time zone from probably the
no,
period
like
they'd be filming in.
it was what like American 1947, I think they said.
Yeah, something like
Um,
that. It's like
it'll be very interesting because obviously he's a doctor, so
mm,
it'll be interesting to see how he deals. Like the Doctor's never been black apart from like Joe Martin, so it'll be very interesting to see historical stories with him as the Doctor. Like we've had Bill with Thin Ice, and that was the 12th Doctor punching someone, which was amazing. Um, so I'm very excited to see how he stood up for companions in. So I wonder how the Doctor's going to stand up for himself. But like, I was trying to think. I was reading that the other day, and I was trying to think like what even happened in 1947. And I think there was a comment that said something about the Roswell UFO crash, which I
yeah.
have heard of. I don't know much about that, and apparently that happened in 1947. So maybe something like that. I don't know.
Also, like you said, with him having to deal with things that he's never had to deal with before, because in the Witchfinders, Jodie's doctor was very much pushed to the side because she was a
Yeah,
woman, and I feel like that was really interesting. I would have liked to see that done more. I'm a bit annoyed it wasn't. I mean, it was done in War of the Sontarans a bit as well, but I kind
yeah,
of feel like it's going to be very interesting to see, especially then as well if his companion is like like a woman or something, and it's just one companion, then that is going to be really hard for them to try and like take control of a situation in like a historical place, which could also make the
I didn't
plot
even
like
think of
it
that.
can make things a lot more interesting for like story wise, because whereas before the Doctor would just speak and they'd kind of maybe just be like, oh, let's just listen to them. And then like you said with Jodie, if that couldn't happen, then he just kind of listened to the companions. If they can't do either, then that's going to put them in a very tough spot, like plot wise.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. To be honest, like no one's going to listen to especially 1947 America.
Yeah.
No one's going to listen to a woman, let alone an African American or British American, African British. What I don't know what he's referred to. No one's going to listen to either of them.
Yeah, like it's gonna be it is gonna definitely be really interesting plot wise. I'm almost
Yeah,
wondering
yeah,
how much they're going to do it because obviously in Witchfinders after like a certain point, I think Ryan or something was like just listen to her, trust her. But then if like you said, if it was like a woman as the companion, they're not gonna listen to the woman like the female companion
no,
tell them
no,
the Doctor's in
definitely not.
charge. Like they're gonna oh, go away, do whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So it's gonna be
yeah.
interesting.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
How do you feel about because we spoke about kind of the Disney Plus deal a bit and how all of that. But what do you think then about the title sequence and how that actually kind of the whole kind of I guess theme, not even like music theme, but like kind of tone of series 14.
So I always like in all the title sequences. I love the TARDIS going through the time vortex. I think it
Yeah,
just suits.
that was
It
definitely
suits the
missed.
show.
That was definitely a missed
Um,
opportunity in 13s.
yeah. Oh yeah. Especially with her time vortex as well. Like that
Yeah.
purple was beautiful.
Like all of like how it
Um,
opens up into different tubing, that could have been like where you have the
yeah.
logo and then she goes into another tube. Like,
Yeah. Like we saw the TARDIS flying through her time vortex in some episodes, and it looked incredible.
yeah,
But I think for the 60th, with this kind of Fourth Doctor classic logo, I think they're very much going to go down the route. I honestly reckon just for kind of nostalgia with Russell T Davies, I think we'll keep the 10th Doctor's theme song. But I think we're going to have more of a kind of classic tone to the actual sequence itself. And then I really hope the logo doesn't change for Shooty, because I love this logo.
Yeah,
I think
because
it's
I've seen
awesome.
some people be like, when the 50th came out, all of the merch are like a diamond logo.
Yeah,
And like, in Classic Who, every now and then that kind of happens. So I think, I know Classic Who had the diamond logo a lot more than just like their anniversaries as well. But I do definitely
yeah.
hope that even if they decide to, maybe like change the colouring slightly and make it all blue or like blue and black or something, that they definitely keep the diamond logo for Shooty.
Yeah, I think it's such a gorgeous logo.
Yeah.
And like I'm working on my own like audio series, and like I've just been designing the posters, and I've been using that logo for everything. Like it just looks so good on everything. So I'm very excited to see how it looks on some merch. But for Shooty's like opening sequence, I don't even know. Like I can't even imagine what it's going to be like, because we have no idea what his Doctor's going to be like yet. I think once we get the costume, we might slowly be able to kind of decipher something. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Oh no, I don't know. I'm not sure.
We're going to
It'll
be...
be interesting.
Because even from filming images, we won't be able to tell what the Doctor's like. Like, we'll have to...
No,
Like, we really are either going to have to wait till... Because, in the 60th, he'll still be all post-regeneration. He won't be proper his normal self. So we either have to
yeah,
wait till the Series 14 trailer, which will be probably after the 60th, I'd say we get that. Like, the final
yeah.
special. So we're going to have to wait till November of next year to get a feel for the kind of tone of the trailer, which will then give us the tone of the Doctor. Or, if it's just like a generic kind of trailer without like a tone, we really are just going to have to wait till Series 14 comes out.
I think because they've done like the 4 specials, I'm hoping the 4th one is back to being a Christmas special.
Yeah, I think it will
Because that
be.
was always a tradition. Like I used to watch Christmas special every year. So I'm hoping. Yeah, I don't know. Oh,
I am going to miss the New Year's special though. I did like having something on New Year's Day.
yeah. I did start to get used to it. Yeah.
I hope that maybe they look into doing something. I don't know. Maybe if they, I really don't know how they, I don't know. Maybe Christmas is special with like a different Doctor, because I saw an idea that I liked before, which was like you have every Christmas special is just like a standalone story from an existing Doctor.
Yeah.
Like something, I think New Year's Day definitely still needs to be looked at. Even if they give the Doctor like his Christmas Day special, definitely have something on New Year's, whether
See,
it's like a special kind of movie type thing, like just a special, just like not even with the Doctor, like with a past companion, like a unit story with Martha or something, and Martha and Mel, just something
see,
special as well.
yeah, I really liked with the end of time how we had part 1 on Christmas and part 2 on New Year's.
Yeah,
So I'd
that could
love something
work.
like that. Like, every year, an exciting 2-part story, like one on Christmas and one on New Year's. That would be really good.
Even if they were like, because I think it's pretty obvious that I'm pretty obvious we don't know, but I think it's probably kind of obvious that the 60th, the 3 specials aren't going to be linked in the way that it's like a 2-parter, but they are very much
Yeah,
still going to run into each other. So even if they wanted to have kind of 2 separate stories for like a Christmas and New Year's, then you can do something like that. So there is still an overarching thing, but it still can work. Like like with Flux, and there were stories that were individual as well.
well, that's what I mean. Like, there's 3 different directors for each of these specials.
Yeah,
We've got Rachel Talalay,
yeah. I don't know how to
who
say that
obviously
either.
people, yeah, God, I wouldn't have a clue. I don't want to offend her, but like, people know her from like Peter Capaldi, and she is
Yeah.
fantastic. She's so good. And then I don't know who the other 2 are. Like I've never heard of them before. But so it's going to be interesting to see how these 3 specials work with 3 different directors.
And
Whether they're going to
obviously,
have a different tone each or what.
I know that Rachel is doing Series 14
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah,
because I know she put something on Instagram the other day when they were like arrived at the studio to film Series 14, or they're starting setting up.
yeah,
So she's obviously working on that. But I wonder how she felt being brought up. I wonder if she actually expected to ever be brought back after the Moffat era. She's like, oh, well, I'm done on Doctor Who now. I wonder if she then was very surprised. Suddenly she gets picked up the phone and Russell's calling her like, hey, do you want to come back?
Yeah, I hope she wasn't, because I hope she knows how like amazing she is, and I know a lot of Doctor Who fans that love her. She's done such an incredible job with Peter. So yeah, I don't know. I'm very excited to see
Something
her
something
work with
that
Russell.
something that I thought of as well, which I did say to someone else, is that you know how kind of the how Doctor Who Confidential is coming back in the form of Doctor Unleashed.
Yeah.
Is before series one came out, like I think it was like the week or even the day before Rose aired, there was something like that, which was a special. It was actually obviously David Tennant wasn't the Doctor at the well, actually it would have been filmed, so I guess he secretly knew he was. David Tennant narrated it, and it was basically like a Doctor Who Confidential episode about how they brought Doctor Who back. Like it was like it aired like right before Rose. I would love them to do something like that for the 60th, of how they went through the stages of bringing back Russell T Davies and setting up Series 14 and getting Tennant, getting Catherine Tate, all of that. Have like a mini documentary thing, like I say mini, an hour maybe to 2 hours, explaining how it is coming back to this, this past showrunner and where it's going.
Like for the 50th, we had Space and Time, which was fantastic. We had documentaries. We had some documentary about the Doctor Who companions. There was so much for the 50th, and then of course like the special. So for the 60th, I reckon there's we obviously know about the 3 specials, but I think there's going to be so much more that we just don't know about yet.
Yeah, I think there's also you saying that as well just reminded me of. I thought it was a little bit like odd when they announced it. When Disney Plus was saying, we're gonna start when Doctor releases their new stuff, we're gonna start putting it out in 2023. Why didn't they just say like November? That again makes me feel like we're gonna get some more officially released stuff that will be on TV as well before November comes out.
I hope so. Like I love a good Doctor Who documentary, so I wouldn't mind something like that. And as you said, like a documentary kind of looking at how this new era kind of came to be.
Yeah.
And then of course I love Confidential. I used to love watching Confidential, so I'm hoping that is actually going to happen. And I'm very excited to see the things that we don't even know about yet, because I think there's so much that's going to come for the 60th. And then of course like merch.
Oh yeah, definitely merch. That's going to definitely have to go up.
That's like my partner. She's now saying, "Oh, what do you want for Christmas?" And I'm like, I honestly don't know, because all the good merch is going to start coming next year.
Yeah.
And like I collect the Eagle Moss figures, and they've closed down. So normally that was what I got for Christmas. I'm like, I don't know. You need to do it yourself this year. Like,
If you're on your own, it's up to you to come up with the ideas.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But no, yeah, I think also about Confidential, I think it will Unleashed. I think it will be a thing, because there was rumors of it, and then like a day later, when when they were filming in Camden and Russell arrived, there was cameras on him, like interviewing him. So then we got the day before, and then suddenly he's being filmed and talked to, and we thought, okay, maybe it's going to be something like BBC News or like something like that, where they're going to be like, so you're filming Doctor in Camden, how blah blah blah, but then nothing came out. So it's got to have to kind of be for something that's come before.
Yeah. I really hope so.
Yeah, I think it will do for Doctor Who Unleashed. Well, yeah, I wonder if maybe Unleashed is just a code name and it will be called like Confidential or something.
I hope so. Like I've been rewatched like all of New Who, and then kind of watched the Doctor Who Confidential of each episode as well, which is really cool, because I used to love watching Confidential. And we had like Doctor Who Extra, which was but it wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't. It was nothing as good as Confidential. Also, I'm wondering, because didn't Confidential, I think it aired like an hour after each episode, or directly after. I don't know if I'd want that, or if maybe I'd want it on like Sunday or something. Because I think it's obvious Doctor Who's going to be back to Saturday.
Yeah, I hope so. Like, because with Chibnall came out Sunday in England, Monday here, so I had to wait until I finished work on that Monday, and it was always annoying because spoilers and stuff like that. So I'm hoping it goes back, so I can go back to watching Doctor Who on Sunday mornings.
No, it definitely will go back. From like trust me, it's gonna go back to Saturday. Like they're gonna want it to become a big main show again. I mean, BBC themselves spent 50 million on just getting Russell back. So
Yeah, yeah,
just that alone, they're gonna be like, okay, we're gonna we're gonna spend the money to make not even the
yeah.
money. We're gonna reschedule some things to make sure it gets prime time Saturday.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, do you have any upcoming? I know you said about your upcoming audio kind of adventures thing, but do you have any if you want to talk about that or any other upcoming projects that you're working on?
I've been working on an audio series for a while, and people who follow my YouTube channel will know it's been so long because I just haven't found the time to write it. So I'm working on like an audio series called Lost Adventures, which is like a kind of like an anthology series. So it's about different. Each episode's about a different doctor
Oh, that's
and a
interesting.
companion in an story that we haven't seen that I've kind of wrote myself. And then I've also started working on another one. Slowly started working on another one featuring the Eighth Doctor, 4-part series. Then of course I've got my Doctor Who podcast on Spotify. But that's about it. Yeah,
How
absolutely.
how long is each episode of the anthology series with like the different doctors?
I'm hoping for about 40 to 50 minutes. So usual kind of like Big Finish kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Um, but like a friend of mine has designed these beautiful posters for each episode for me, which I think I have put on Instagram. And I think I've put on YouTube as well, to be honest. Um, and yeah, he's done these gorgeous posters for each episode, which kind of has helped me to write it because I've kind of looked at these posters and gone, okay, yeah, well that I could include that, and yeah,
Yeah, I feel like I'm like that as well because I'm working on a figure adventures series with like stop motion for the
yep,
13th Doctor, and it's like
yep,
very much when you see something of really high quality like for your thing or like similar to your thing, it definitely helps motivate you to be like, okay, yeah, I want to have mine like that. Like it needs to like
yeah,
it's gonna be good. Like it really makes it feel a lot better.
yeah. Well, that's what I mean. Like, I gave for him to design these posters. I kind of gave him an overall like gist of each episode, and he
Yeah.
came back and gave me these posters, and it's like my vision like come to life. It looks beautiful, looks awesome.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with like I said, the vision coming to life. It makes you feel like, okay, yeah, let's do this. And when you see it come to life, you almost feel like, okay, well, now I know this is gonna, work and probably be really good. We can have some of
Yeah,
the other ideas, like, because I had some ideas before, which I was like, okay, I probably won't be able to do that because like it just won't look that great or like won't be really good. And then when I've seen the
yeah,
episodes so far come to life, it's like, oh, actually, I probably can do that.
exactly.
But yeah, Big Finish is really interesting as well. I wonder if they're gonna do anything for the 60th.
I didn't even think of Big Finish, to be honest. Like, they didn't even click in my mind. I hope so. Like, they did something for the 50th,
Yeah.
the multi-doctor story. But yeah, I love a good Big Finish story. That's a lot of. I think the Big Finish ones are probably my big inspiration for my audio stories.
Because I know that like you said, for the multi-doctor stories, that like you could have like the 50th with the different doctors. I'm wondering if maybe we could see a ninth Doctor one, maybe with like 9 and 10. But then again, I know Eccleston said he doesn't want to do specials with other doctors.
Yeah, I know. I really hope he changes his mind. Same with Peter Capaldi. He also said he doesn't want to do
Yeah,
multi-doctor stories.
because he's
But
not
I
even done
really
Big
hope.
Finish, has he?
No, no, exactly. And I really hope that all those interviews of Peter Capaldi saying, no, I'm not doing multi-doctor stories, I'm hoping that's like him trying to throw us off the trail and he actually is
He's
doing
doing an
one.
Andrew Garfield on us.
Oh, yes, I hope so. I definitely hope so.
Just that would be really good. I think because a Big Finish multi-doctor with 9 and Capaldi, the two that have said they don't want to do
Oh,
it.
yes.
That could
Yeah.
because they're quite similar doctors as well. But yeah, for the people listening, if you're wanting to check out those posters and look into more of the your anthology series and your Eighth Doctor series that you have been working on, then I'll be linking all of his socials down below in the description for you to check out those because I'm actually going to do that after this recording. I want to see those posters now. You've definitely intrigued me. I'm wanting to
I
know more.
honestly don't think they're on. I honestly don't think they're on Instagram anymore, but I can definitely send them to you.
That will be yeah. I'm really. I do love. I think posters are something that they definitely need to bring it back to as well. Like for like every episode has its own poster.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a good thing in like series 7. I think had that. on like series 8
Yes, I
maybe.
remember the good old posters. Yeah,
Yeah, every episode, especially yeah, it was series 7. I remember now.
yeah.
They were definitely really good. But yes, so again, for the people listening, there will be an hour after this is uploaded. So this recording has gone over an hour, so it should already be up. If you've watched all the way through without skipping, then I'll be going through on the Discord. By the way, join the Discord, get the Dalek roll to get this special video where I'll be going through the survey from last week's episode that came out. And also make sure to fill out the survey in this week's description for next week's video. There's a lot of different weeks here to go on. But yeah, thank you for joining me, Whovian.
Thank you so much for having me. It has been amazing chatting about Doctor Who with you.
I guess we'll have to wait and see about some of the things you've talked about with maybe Mel coming back
Oh
and
yeah,
to what capacity.
yeah, absolutely. It's going to be a very exciting year for Doctor Who, I think.
Yeah, probably one of the biggest years in a very long time. We'll have to wait and see if it'll be bigger than the 60th year, because that was a
Yeah,
pretty big year. So he's got a lot to live up to if he wants to be bigger than that.
yeah, exactly.
Well, thank you for listening, everyone. I almost said thanks for watching, like I normally always do, but I didn't. But just in saying that, I guess I've said it. So thanks for listening, guys. And again, thank you for coming on, Whovian. And I will see you all later.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.